Right, everyone. So Tony Khan responded to some of this rumor mill about Shane McMahon potentially joining AEW. So we're reading from WrestlingNews.com. AEW President Tony Khan did give a comment stating, "I've never met or talked to him in my life," which means that, at least for PR purposes here, Tony Khan and Shane McMahon, it doesn't look like there's any smoke here that anything's actually going to happen. Now, we discussed in our video on the subject, this feels like a weird fit, and Tony Khan has to be careful of, if you're trying to build a program that in some ways can one day compete with WWE, you can't just rely on things outside of AEW to do it. You really have to build your own stars. Now, there is that idea that you could bring in somebody like Shane McMahon, who, even though he's not a wrestler, he's such a huge name, to drive short-term ratings so that you can kind of present your stars to the people, and then you can continue that as you go through. I think that's a fair way to look at it, and it certainly can happen. I just think sometimes, especially when you're a smaller wrestling, company, sometimes you get to a point where you're just chasing things. You're really like, okay, we're smaller. What can we do to kind of really just bring the ratings, or just see that increase? And if it's not a part of a long term plan, if it's all short term, I think that it can get into some bad some bad things. And also, does Shane McMahon have interest in this? This is another thing I don't necessarily understand. If Shane doesn't want to work in the WWE, why would he want to work in AEW? That doesn't all really make sense to me. But if it ends up happening, I'm sure I can assure you this: if it does happen, people will be watching. And I guess in the wrestling business, that's all that really matters. So thank you all for watching, and we will see you next time.